Whenever I go to a meet and try some IEMs with my friends, I always carry this little box of tips with me. Inside are 3 tips that I really like and I want to share with you. The first one is this Asla Senna Max ASMR tips. It's a weird name, but these are awesome. The first thing you'll notice about them is that there's a little filter built right into it, which is great. I think more companies need to do this. Now, to be fair though, this means that it doesn't always work with some of IEMs with really long nozzles back here. As you can see, it kind of sticks out a little because of that filter kind of blocking the way. But honestly, this is not really that big of a deal. I find that, it still works equally well. What makes this a great tip, I think, is the shape and the silicone used. You can see that it's a bit of a shorter tip, so once you put it in your ear, it seals pretty quickly nearer to the entrance and you don't have to push it in too deep. The silicone in particular has a very nice rigidity, so it holds its shape and seal very well. It also has a great balance of being, feeling grippy inside your ear, but not necessarily sticky. I find this to be a fairly neutral sounding tip, and it does ever so slightly smoothing out the treble peaks. Bass quality is good because of how good of a seal I can get with these. The next tip I want to show you is the Acoust AET07, which is basically the same as the Let Shure stock tips. This is a very interesting tip because on the surface there's nothing too special about it. The only thing that I would really comment on is how rigid the core of these tips are, so it does hold its shape very well once it's on a nozzle. The silicone isn't very grippy and it slides into my ear pretty easily. But for some reason, at least in terms of sound, these tips can really transform the way an IEM sounds. Some IEMs I don't really love, I put these on and suddenly they sound way better. Some IEMs that already sound good, these don't really do much for it. I think part of the reasons why these make some IEMs sound a lot better is because these are deep fitting tips. I usually use an M size tip for most of my tips here, but these I specifically use an S size. You can see how it's thinner at the top and much thicker at the bottom, so it slides in much deeper into your ear and that will change the treble response. I also find that these tips give me a very consistent fit regardless of the IEM, so I usually try to keep this around as a second option to try if those ASMR tips don't feel right. Lastly, we have the Final Audio Type E. This is a classic and this, in my opinion, is one of the most comfortable tips ever. The silicone that they use is this thick, almost rubbery feel to it. This gives it a very more robust shape that holds up well in the ear, but it feels kind of padded out for comfort. You can see it's nice and squishy here. Sound-wise, I do think that this tip smoothens out the treble peaks quite a bit. So in general, it's a good one to have around if you want something that's just maximum comfort and you are pretty sure it'll work on any IEM, as well as it helps, tame some of those treble peaks up top. So yeah, one of my favorite IEM tips, and it's a classic for a reason. Altogether, these are my 3 top tips. Let me know in the comments what you think, and maybe next time I'll probably do 3 IEM tips that I hate.